What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today Apple released iOS 13.3 Beta 3 a little over a week after the release of Beta 2 and just a couple days after the public release of iOS 13.2.3. So of course in this video we're going to talk about what's new in this software update, the bugs that have been fixed, some bugs that still remain, the performance, the battery life, and if you should update or not. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So you can see here the size of this update once again continues to be very small sizes for these point releases. 187.5 megabytes here on my iPhone 11. And let's go ahead and check out the build number. If we go into our settings, general, about 13.3 there, you can see the build number of this update is 17C5046A. So back-to-back A releases, which means we are very, very close to seeing the final release of iOS 13.3. Again, I would expect that within the next couple of weeks. And if we scroll down a little bit more, you can see we do also have a new modem firmware update as well. So we went from 1.03.09 to 1.03.11. So if you were having cell connectivity issues, Wi-Fi issues, anything to do with connectivity, those could be solved in Beta 3. So now what's new in this update? And I actually found one new feature, an actual outward-facing feature and change here in iOS 13.3 Beta 3. And that has to do with trimming video. So if we go into our photos here and find a video, and if we go ahead to edit right here and we want to trim it a little bit, when we go to click done, you can see we now have the feature back that we had in iOS 12 where we can save the video as a new clip. So instead of just saving it and kind of overriding the video and only having one video, the trimmed version, now you have the option to save video as a new clip. So a lot of people have been asking for this for a while now, so it's good to see that Apple has included this in iOS 13.3. And I did also test to see if this was available in iOS 13.2.3, but it is not. So this seems to be a new feature specifically for iOS 13.3 and later. So yeah, aside from that feature there, of course, everything else in this update is going to be strictly bug fixes and security enhancements, your typical what you would expect from a 0.3 and a beta 3 of any software update. So I'm assuming that this update does also include all of the fixes we saw in iOS 13.2.3, which was released earlier this week, as I mentioned. And of course, that update did have a lot of mail fixes. So if you were having issues with mail in iOS 13.3 beta, I would imagine that beta 3 is a lot better than beta 2 in terms of mail, which beta 2 also fixed a lot of mail issues. And of course, one of the big ones that was fixed in iOS 13.2.3 and presumably in this third beta of iOS 13.3 is when you would go to the details view of your messages, it would not show the attachments properly. It would just say indexing forever and would never show you all the attachments. That has been fixed, so you can expect to see that fixed in beta 3 as well. Now, another bug that's been fixed in this latest beta release has to do with message effects. So if you go ahead and type something and then go ahead and go to the effects right here, and if we go ahead over to screen right here, if we go over to the confetti, so confetti you can see now works properly in beta 3. That did not work at all in beta 2. So confetti, we also have the shooting star effect. You can see that now works properly, and also the celebration effect. All three of those now work properly, and you can see here when you send it, it does show the full animation on both phones and everything. You can see I just got the text right there, and it will work on all devices. So that did not work in beta 2, but that has been fixed and now it works here in beta 3. I've also noticed that transfer to HomePod now works a lot better on beta 3. I tested this out just before shooting this video. For some reason, this feature was very slow for me in beta 2, and sometimes it wouldn't work like at all. It would never transfer it, and I would have to manually go ahead into my AirPlay settings and change it to the HomePod, so it wouldn't work properly. But now in beta 3, I tested it like 5 times back to back to back, and I had no issues at all. It connects a lot faster, and it seems to be working 100% of the time. So transfer to HomePod does seem to be improved and seems to be more reliable now in this latest update. Another issue I've been seeing a lot of people talk about is the location services bug, where it basically show like the arrow up in your status bar the entire time, even if you had nothing running on, nothing using your location, you had location services off, it would still continue to show that. It seems to be fixed here for me on my iPhone 11. Now I have had mixed reviews on this because in the past I said that that bug was fixed and it turned out to not be fixed. It just, wasn't showing it at the time. So let me know if you are still having that bug or not down in the comments below, but it does at least seem to be fixed for me on my iPhone 11, at least for now. Now, of course, I do also like to see what you guys are saying about what kind of bugs you're having, what things have been fixed and things like that. And I do tend to go to my comment section of my videos like this to see, kind of the issues you guys are having. You can see here's an example. Robbie said that he's still having the screenshot crop issue. So that was something I mentioned was fixed in beta 2, and it was fixed for me entirely and a lot of other people as well, but some people may still be having it on beta 3. So I would go ahead and update to see if it's still fixed. Now, one issue I did notice, and this is specifically with videos, not screenshots, but when you would clip, or I should say trim videos, when I would go to post that video on something like Facebook, I did this with Facebook multiple times. When I would post the video on Facebook, it would still show the full length clip, like I never trimmed it. But then when I went back, like when I closed out of the Facebook app and went back in to where I replied with that video on, it would show the trimmed version. So it seems to be a real inconsistency or some kind of issue maybe with Facebook. So I'm thinking that the cropping and the trimming issues may just have to do with third-party applications. Now, if you're having an issue with screenshots not cropping properly inside of your Photos application, that's a whole nother issue, because you can see here I cropped this photo right here and it saved perfectly fine. So let me know if you guys are having that issue still, and be a little bit more specific about the issue as well, so I can kind of, help diagnose it and maybe report it to Apple as well, which you guys should also be reporting this stuff to Apple using the feedback application. If you're not already, definitely go ahead and do that so that we can get all the bugs fixed in iOS 13. And then Michael here said that he's losing Wi-Fi a lot on 13.2.2. Not sure why he left that comment on my 13.3 beta 2 video, but with iOS 13.3, you should definitely see some improvements in both Wi-Fi and cell connectivity because of all the modem firmware updates and things like that. So if you are still having issues with Wi-Fi or cellular, like I said at the beginning of this video, definitely go ahead and update and you should see some improvements there. And also, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the bugs inside of the Mail application have also been fixed in 13.3, also 13.2.3, but it seems that there are issues with Exchange accounts specifically that still remain even in 13.3. So one of the ones I've read is that mail previews from the notifications is still broken. So when you would swipe down and get the notifications, you would tap on it and it would just freeze and it wouldn't even take you into that email. And that seems to be specific for Exchange emails, not like Google emails or, not Yahoo or anything like that. So it seems that Apple still has a lot of work to do with the Mail application, but there have at least been a lot of bug fixes inside of the application recently. Now, as far as battery life goes, you can see here, Big Mac said that the battery life on his 11 Pro Max is good, but it's not so good on his iPhone 7 Plus, 8 Plus, or iPhone 10. So let me know if you guys are having issues with the battery. Battery life seems to be perfectly fine for me on 13.3. I really haven't had issues with battery since like iOS 13.1. So if you are having issues, definitely watch my battery saving tips video, because a lot of times it's not even just software based, it just has to do with how you use your phone. But as far as performance goes, performance on iOS 13.3 beta 3 seems perfectly fine. It was fine on beta 2 as well. I did use it on my daily driver, my iPhone 11 Pro Max, for a little bit, and I did also use it here on my iPhone 11 full time, and I can't really complain. I mean, ever since the RAM management issues have been fixed in iOS 13, there really hasn't been much to complain about at all when it comes to performance. I have had random people say that they have issues with lag and games and things like that, but that's kind of to be expected. I mean, with third-party applications, a lot of times it has to do with the application itself and not just the phone. So when I talk about performance, I'm more so talking about RAM management and, closing out of apps fast and things like that, opening up applications fast, being able to multitask real fast. That's really what I'm talking about when I talk about performance in general in these videos, not necessarily just playing games smoothly and things like that. Now, as for if you should update to iOS 13.3 beta 3, if you're on beta 2, I would definitely update. There's really no reason not to. You just get more stability fixes, a new modem firmware update and things like that. If you're on iOS 13.2.3, I probably wouldn't update yet, just because I would wait for the final release of iOS 13.3, which should be out again within the next couple of weeks, I would assume, especially after getting back-to-back A build numbers, the A at the end of the build number. And of course, anytime you go from a 0.2, 0.3 to just a 0.3, you're going to see a lot of improvements in terms of battery life, performance, connectivity, and things like that as well. So I would wait though for the final release of iOS 13.3 before updating from 13.2.3. Now, in related news, I did also want to mention that Apple did just launch the new smart battery case for the iPhone 11, iPhone 11 Pro, and iPhone 11 Pro Max. They're $129 and they do ship out on November 25th. You can order it now, but it won't ship out until November 25th. And this was the smart battery case for the iPhone XS Max here. I got this last year. I like the case, but I just didn't use it very much. So I definitely won't be getting it for my iPhone 11. You can see there it has a nice microfiber lining in here. And of course the outside is silicone. It kind of bends at the top to get the phone in there. It's a pretty cool case, but for $130, I'm gonna pass. I'm not gonna be getting one. Let me know down in the comment section below though, if you guys plan on getting one. That will definitely make the battery life insane, especially on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I cannot imagine how much battery life you're going to be getting if you rock that case. And the final piece of related news I wanted to talk to you guys about is that Apple is actually holding a new event in just a couple of weeks. So on December 2nd in New York City, Apple is having an event. They're going to be live streaming it as well. And you can see here the invitation says, "Loved by millions, created by the best." And we have the gold App Store logo right there. And then it says, join us for an Apple special event honoring our favorite apps and games of 2019. So this seems to be a new type of event, maybe just like a wrap up at the end of every year. Maybe they'll have an event like this showcasing the best apps of the year, something like that. I'm not assuming we're going to get any new products. I don't think we're going to get a one more thing or anything like that here. It is possible though, we could see like the AirTag or, a new iPad or something like that. But I would definitely assume that we would get the iPad in the first quarter of next year. I guess the AirTag is more possible at this event, but again, I see that happening next year. So probably nothing too exciting to look forward to, but I did at least want to mention that it is going on. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. That was iOS 13.3 Beta 3. We did get a new feature and also some much needed bug fixes as well. Seems to be the norm here with these iOS 13 beta updates. They're coming out very frequently and fixing a lot of bugs that a lot of people didn't even know existed, and a lot that people obviously did know existed and were really annoying. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe so you don't miss the next time a new iOS update or beta update gets released. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.